This game preview is brought to you by Manscaped's Premium Ultra Soft Boxer Briefs 2.0, complete with the all-new jewel pouch to protect your stones. Use the promo code SACCITY for 20% off and free worldwide shipping. Manscaped, the perfect tools to protect your jewels.
We now move on to the New York Jets and their outlook for the 2022 season. We're going into their offense, their defense, what to watch for, the odds, the schedule, record prediction, and of course, those preseason power rankings. Aaron, we'll start off with the offense. Lots of young players on this Jets team, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Zach Wilson, Breece Hall, Michael Carter, Garrett Wilson, Elijah. There's tons of young talent on this offense. What young player what young player do you think needs to step up the most this season for the Jets?
That's a hard question.
I try and give them
on offense, right? On offense. I think the easy answer is Breece Hall, but I'm going to go with Garrett Wilson, and I'm going to go with Garrett Wilson because of Zach Wilson. I think it's important for Zach Wilson to be comfortable, but for Zach Wilson to have guys he can throw the ball to and can trust. And I think he's already developed that trust with Elijah Moore. It'll be another year with Corey Davis. And then if Garrett Wilson comes in and can be electric, and all accounts was this past week in training camp, he was torching I think it was the Giants.
Yeah,
that he was just torching the Giants in practice. So those are the things you want to see from a Garrett Wilson, the high pick that we thought was going to come in and have an impact. I think it's more important for Zach Wilson to have weapons like that than leaning on the running game and play action, because I don't think Zach Wilson's that type of quarterback. I think he's more of I want to gunsling. I want to throw the ball around the field. So I think Garrett Wilson really has to take strides throughout the year to get better and better and better.
I think it is going to be huge for Zach Wilson to find. It really sucks that Zach Wilson might not play week 1, and we're back at the same point like we were last year with Zach Wilson maybe battling injuries like he did last year. I mean, what do you think this offense looks like with Joe Flacco? Like, if Joe Flacco plays 5 games this season for the New York Jets, it starts 5 games, are we still hoping that Garrett Wilson is like the guy that you think steps up the most, or is it someone else?
Yeah, because I think all Joe Flacco does is limit your upside, but gives you a veteran presence. So there's not a defense you're going to throw it at Joe Flacco that he hasn't seen. He'll be successful in the fact that he'll know what to do with the football, but he's going to be limited with the upside because he doesn't have the skill set of a Zach Wilson. He doesn't have the arm strength anymore like Zach Wilson. He doesn't have the mobility like a Zach Wilson. And I think that is where they'll be limited. But I honestly don't think, and this may be sad to say, like, at the end of the day, they're not going to win any more or less games with Joe Flacco than they would have with Zach Wilson. I truly believe that. I don't think it's about winning and losing. I think it's about developing Zach Wilson. I don't think the first 5-6 weeks of the season there's any more wins or losses, no matter whether it was Joe Flacco or Zach Wilson.
Yeah. On the defensive side of the ball for the Jets, this is a team that has brought in a lot of pieces to try and better this team over the years. C.J. Mosley, drafting Quentin Williams, bringing in DJ Reed, drafting Sauce Gardner. This team is starting to build and put the pieces in place for a good defense moving forward, with Robert Saleh being the kind of defensive-minded head coach. What is the most underrated part of this Jets defense?
Underrated is tough because we haven't seen it, but I'm going to say the defensive line. I'm going to say the ability to get to the quarterback. I really think they're going to be able to get to the quarterback this year. And I don't know that they were able to get to the quarterback the way they wanted to in the past. And a lot of that has to do with good defensive line play, obviously, but guys like Jermaine Johnson coming in, and then it pushes guys that should have been starters now are backups, and you get more rotational depth on that side of the football. So I think it's really the defensive line play. If I'm not mistaken, they were probably bottom 10 last year in sacks, and I think this year that goes up significantly. You're talking about adding guys to why can't I think of his name? Oh my God, why can't I think of his name?
what
Solomon Thomas, Sheldon Rankins, guys like that who are veterans in this league that have been around. You now bring guys like that in, and you can add to that depth. And you already got Quentin Wilson and Carl Lawson's there and back. So Jermaine Johnson as the rookie, like you get guys that are coming back. You add it to a veteran room, and they're going to be able to get after the quarterback a little bit more this year. And then having those nice pieces like a Sauce Gardner to come in, even Jordan Whitehead in the secondary and DJ Reed, veterans again, going along with a good young rookie to cover a little bit longer to give those guys some time to get to the quarterback. So from a team that was the bottom of the league in sacks, I think they can get to somewhere in the middle of the pack to maybe that upper half, and that can change a defense all in itself.
Yeah, and that's honestly, I'm going to kind of segue into this part is the what to watch for is this defense has a lot of, like you said, veteran pieces. I mean, you had Carl Lawson last year. That was one of their big free agent signings 2 years ago, and then he got hurt and missed all of last year. This is a team, you bring Carl Lawson, and let's not forget, they also went out and signed Quan Alexander, who was a very good linebacker for the New Orleans Saints at one point in his career. So I'm watching the impact of the veteran leadership on this defensive side of the ball with Jordan. I mean, CJ Mosley is one of the best linebackers in the league when he's on the field. This team with their veterans have the ability to lead the young guys into the right place. I mean, CJ, it's like every veteran that is on the Jets defense directly ties into a young player like Carl Lawson affects Quinnen Williams, or Carl Lawson affects Jermaine Johnson. CJ Mosley affects Quincy Williams. Jordan Whitehead affects Sauce Gardner. Like, it's just, there's a direct correlation with all of these veterans on this Jets defense that I think is going to be huge for the development.
It's a good blend. It's a good blend.
We talked about the Jaguars defense yesterday having the ability to surprise a lot of people. I think the Jets defense is right up there with quite possibly shocking the league this year in shutting teams down when we're least expecting it. That's what I'm watching for.
I do like the blend of their veterans and young players. It's not like a team that's all young. Like you look at Houston, who we like, oh man, they got a lot of good young talent. Well, yeah, they do, but they don't have also the veterans in that locker room like the Jets have. So having those veterans that are good and have been good players in this league mixed with good young players, I think that's a good blend. I think that's a good mix, and I do think it'll breed some success.
Yeah. Let's get into our prop bets here, and one of the prop bets I have is on a player I really kind of wanted to talk about a little bit, and it's Elijah Moore. You look at the bottom one. There's no plus money really with the Jets betting this year. Early on, over 800.5 yards for Elijah Moore this year is at -115. You got under 830.5 Breece Hall rushing yards at -130. And then over 5.5 wins at -165 for the New York Jets. I kind of wanted to talk about this Elijah Moore one with the over 800 receiving yards this year. Where do you think he lands? A lot of hype around Elijah Moore this year?
I think he gets 1,000.
Even with Garrett Wilson there?
I think Elijah Moore's the wide receiver one, and I don't think it's very close right now. I think he's clearly the wide receiver one. I think they like him the most. I think he's been in that system now. Garrett Wilson, I think a lot of people want rookies to step up right away. Rookie receivers are hard. It doesn't always translate. I know we've had guys like Justin Jefferson and some guys lately really pop out, but I still think Elijah Moore is that guy, and I think Elijah Moore gets over 1,000 yards this year. I don't really think it's that close, to be honest. I know 1,000 is only 200 more, but that's a lot when you talk about amount of football games. It might come down to health. He only played 11 games last year, had 600-700 yards. Maybe it wasn't that much. Maybe it was only 5. Yeah, I know it was a good season. Let's just say that it was a good season for the amount of games he played for his looks that he got.
Yards.
Yeah, so 30-40 catches last year, 500 yards. I think he can double that based on he didn't start many games last year. Early in the season, he wasn't being used as much. I think once he got hurt and then he came back, I thought they started to really get him involved. And again, year 2 in the offense. Now they know what he's capable of. I think they make it a point to get him the football. I'll take the over there. I will also take the under on Breece Hall. And the wins I would just leave alone because I might project them for more wins, but it's easily could be under. But the Breece Hall yards is just way too many.
Yeah, and reports came out today that Michael Carter very well might be still the RB1 in the the go-to guy, the lead back to start the season, at least for the New York Jets. And I mean, we
I
saw
don't buy
last
that
year.
either.
Well, I'm on the side with this Jets offense, especially with this rushing attack. I'm on the side of we're going to see a very similar backfield to what we saw last year. Robert Saleh came from the Kyle Shanahan offense where we saw multiple running backs be used and basically a revolving door and a running back by committee type of offense. Last year, we saw a very similar type of year with the Jets when we saw Michael Carter, we saw Tevin Coleman, we saw Ty Johnson. Like these guys, I mean, it's 147 rushes for Michael Carter. But we also saw 84 rushes for Tevin Coleman, 61 carries for Ty Johnson. Like these guys are getting work, and I think that's what we're gonna see this year. I can see like a 120 or like a 120 for Michael Carter and like a 95 carries for Breece Hall.
That's it? No way. No way. No way. No way. That's way too low. Number one, I will say this. I don't think it was a running back by committee last year. I think they just didn't know what they had in Michael Carter until later in the season. And then they started using him. Because if you look, when Michael Carter was playing and healthy late in the season, or not, let me say late in the season, but when he was the guy, he was getting all the work. There was no real debate between him and anybody else. When he was the guy, he was the guy. He was getting banged up a lot. And I think that is what kind of faulted or kind of halted his progression. But when he was in the middle of that season, I believe there were games where he was getting 12 plus carries every game, and there wasn't really anybody else getting more than 3 or 4 carries a game. And I think that's what you expect from a number one back in today's NFL. But I think this is a 50-50 toss-up backfield at the moment. I think it's the Washington Commanders. And to be honest, I think it's the mindset of, oh, it's Michael Carter's backfield. I don't think it's real. Just like I don't think Brian Robinson's backfield's in Washington. I think they are going to be a part of it. I think they're going to be used and maybe used heavily, but I think it's a split at worst. I think it's 50-50. I think Breece Hall is going to be that first and second down guy. Michael Carter will come in and spell him for first and second downs when needed, and then he will be the third down running back. I would envision their carries are close to about 150 apiece.
Okay.
Over the course of the season. And then I would say that you may, obviously you're going to have a third back in there somewhere sprinkled in, getting a little bit of, carries, but you're going to get 300 carries from your running back position. Overall in general, just most teams aren't going to go into the season, especially a young team like that, without running the ball at least 300 times. I would find that very hard to believe that they're not getting close to the 300 mark as far as rush attempts.
Last year they rushed the ball for 380 times. That was where they were at. So yeah, the one maybe my numbers were.
I was like, oh, you were 120 and 90 something, 95. Yeah, who else is getting the ball?
Well, like I was trying to I was like looking at what it was last year with like 147. Like I'm trying to bump it down, but I don't think Ty Johnson gets. I don't think their third string running back gets 61 carries. That's what the difference is going into this year. But when we look at their schedule, what's the biggest storyline within the schedule of the New York Jets?
Oh, man, it's the beginning. Oh, my gosh. And, the one bright spot, if you look at weeks 1 through 7, and really 1 through 9.
Up until the bye.
But, I mean, even if you don't, their schedule is so hard, man. Listen, they get a break week 2 at Cleveland, and I know it's not much of a break, but at least it's without Deshaun Watson. But as much as I think they're going to be better, if they were started 0-9, I would not bat an eye. I would not be like, oh my God, they started 0-9. It's very possible. It's a tough schedule. Yeah. Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and New England. I'll say this right now. Those are must-win games for the Jets. At Pittsburgh, which is a very tough place to play, but young quarterbacks, they're going to be just like you in that aspect. Versus New England at home. Again, not, Mac Jones. We're not very high on New England as much. And then at Cleveland without Deshaun Watson. Those are absolute must-win games. And then on the back end, if you can get Chicago, Detroit, Jacksonville, Seattle, those are the games you have to win. At best, the Jets can do is 7-10 if they do that.
Yeah. That's what I have. That's what I have them at.
Tough schedule. And if we want to go into records, I'll tell you, I had them originally at 7-10.
Yeah.
And then I saw their schedule and I was like, oh my gosh. And I wanted to change it. But they'll upset a team. They got Tennessee last year. They'll upset somebody. I think they can find a way to 7 wins. I really, really do. I think they can beat Cleveland. I think they can beat New England. Maybe they go beat Miami, right, at home that week 5. Maybe they get that division game. And then you get some of those easy games down the stretch. 7's probably pushing it, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
But I couldn't give them a worse record than the Patriots.
I think I gotta go. Oh man, I'm gonna go 6-11. I'm gonna lock in 6-11 for the Jets, just because I think their wins are Cleveland. I think they're Cleveland, New England once, Chicago, the Lions, the Seahawks, and you throw up either Jacksonville or Pittsburgh, one of those games. I think they beat Jacksonville at home on Thursday Night Football. That to give them their 6th win. That's where I'll have the New York Jets. 6-11 or 6-12. No, 6-11. Jesus, math. At the end of these shows, it's brutal. 6-11. You got 7-10 for the New York Jets. Last but certainly not least, Aaron, where do the Jets fall in the preseason power rankings?
Yeah, so I'm higher on the Jets than a lot of people. I wish Zach Wilson was there early in the season. We'll see how that plays out. But when you look at this area, it's tough, man. These teams are all right there, 7-10. I have them slated right behind Tennessee and some mystery team that we'll put up there. Well, we're going to wrap up 17 through 24 here soon.
Yep.
We have them at number 23. Again, Zach Wilson, question marks. Got the New York teams back-to-back there. I do like what they've done with the young players mixing with veteran players. Their future looks bright. The Jets coming in at number 23 on the Sac City preseason power rankings.